let's get this better area for us so that we can do a recovery and actually be able to see chat at the same time. So that'd be nice. This stuff back here. Alright. That'll work. Now we can get something on YouTube to watch. I'm going to turn this way down because we don't need this all the way up. And then go ahead and get our recovery work.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start. This is going to be the Vitali versus Arm.
I already watched that, so I don't really need to watch it again. Let's look for something else. See if there's anything crazy in arm wrestling. Arm wrestling search. Probably not really. I think I've watched everything. Yeah, okay. Let's just go back home and watch something fun. And then kind of go from there. Yeah, we'll watch
so
this.
So we're going to go ahead and start. This is going to be the Vitali versus Armin's match. So this was December 2023.
We'll watch this.
We can go here.
In the background. That's what we'll do.
You got it. You got it.
We have something to watch while we're doing this, and we can also pay attention to the live. Oh, I gotta twist this.
Big dude, let's go.
Alright, twist it the other way.
Armin is walking out. Also a big dude.
Ready. Just gonna be doing some recovery. Gonna be starting with pronation, so. Boom.
So you were here yesterday, and I know.
How's it going, Dookie?
So programming's going well.
That's how you wrap it. So over your thumb like that. Down around. This is high pronation. My high pronation route. Then we're gonna just kind of work on pronating our wrist, getting some blood flowing into our pronator tendon. Actually, we can actually wrap that probably one more time. No, that's too much. Okay. Too close to the weight. Getting some blood flow. Got to get my recovery going so that I'm not super sore tomorrow. How's everyone doing?
First off, he has the strongest squeezing strength this morning. Have you seen that? You seen that he's done that?
And I'm doing about 20 pounds. Nothing crazy. Just light, getting tendons going, getting blood flow into the muscles.
I have a green one. It's made by a Korean company. A lot of Amazon's like $240. It's like the gold standard. What's your number on it? My best is only like 170. Yeah, like my average is like 140 if I'm cold. Yeah, I probably will run with the Korean. I think he did like 220 or 240, something crazy. Yeah, it's impossible. Yeah, it's really good. So what does that mean? That means if he holds on to your hand, on the ready go, it's kind of hard.
Watching Michael Todd's edited video of his live stream that was, I believe, last night, where he's going over some of Vitali's matches, or Vitali's match with Hermes. So we're kind of seeing how he reacts to that. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't get to watch all of it, so kind of catching up on that while getting some light recovery in. My right arm is pretty sore from our workout this morning, and our left arm is sore as well, more in the forearm, so kind of getting that going. Going to do the same thing on the right arm, high pronation. So over the thumb, wrap around. And then I like to make sure that the straps overlap. That way I can kind of have them both pulling down on the same spot. And then for recovery, I allow myself some cup when I'm doing it. And I don't really kind of push my elbow on anything because I'm trying to really get the bicep pronator a little bit of a workout. So.
Do you think that's advantageous for him in a super? I have no idea. Well, my belief is if you let your wrist go to hang on to somebody outside the strap, we have already compromised your wrist once. So, in my experience, once your wrist is compromised, it is more likely to be compromised in the future matches. So, in my opinion, that was a mistake for him to go on. Okay. But hopefully he makes the same mistake with me. All right, here we go.
Where do I put my water at?
Not being able to successfully flip without getting a foul. You see the two fouls down there? Yeah.
Water's over there. All right.
So once again, Armas has now got a foul. Right?
Oh, right back.
Opened up.
How's it going, Lexi?
But while that's happening, you see Vitali committing with that flop press, trying to get the pin.
Just getting some blood flowing into my arms. Gonna go on to some riser work. So same thing as pronator wrap. I'm gonna actually go the other way. I always end up putting it the wrong way. Yep, we're working out. We did our like actual working workout in the morning, earlier in the live, and now we're doing our recovery. So that's just mainly getting blood flow into our muscles and our tendons, so we're not as sore come tomorrow. So this is gonna be our riser, which is our radial deviation. So your wrist going up. And this is obviously not, standard workout. This is for arm wrestling.
So now Vitali's wrist has been back a minimum of 3 times. It's got him 1 win, but now Armas has got this back round 2 with the buckle being on Vitali's hand. So a lot of people think the buckle matters.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Put your wrist down and tighten it. And that is true, but if you don't get a real tight strap, then I don't think it makes a big difference. But here we are going
Also just watching Monster Michael Todd's newest video while I'm doing this, just so I'm not sitting here bored in case anybody doesn't show up, but people have been kind of showing up, so I really appreciate it. I do. Let's go back over to the left arm. I gotta go this way. There we go.
Is his riser strength of that riser curl and that hammer curl strength that he has up pressure, a lot of people call it back pressure.
I got pushed over a table last time I arm wrestled. Well, it's probably been a while, but you can always get better. I mean, I have some guys that whoop my butt pretty bad whenever I arm wrestle them, but I've gotten to a point where I can pretty much put a fight up with almost anyone. I mean, I'm not anywhere close to like the best in the world or anywhere close to even the best in my state yet, but maybe next year I'll be able to prove myself a little bit in the 176 weight class. That'd be pretty nice if I can do that. If not, I at least get higher than I am now. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it.
Is putting a lot of wear and tear on Vitali, and Vitali's not moving explosive arm wrestler now. He's putting the brakes on. If you look at his elbow, it's off the front, no foul there. That should have been foul too. His elbow's way off the front. Did he get it? Second elbow, okay. But you see
I really appreciate that subscription. And I also have more training videos and stuff. And then I'm also working on some members training videos. For people who want to take arm wrestling a little bit more serious. I have, where I talk about some, theoretical stuff and then some stuff that's been working for me that I'm not just telling everybody about. Alright, let's get our inside pressure going. which is similar to my other reps, but it's on the inside of the palm. And that the members it's only 99 cents a month, so I'm making it so it's not pretty much anybody can afford it, but you know, it's obviously not required or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's there. If people want a little bit extra and they're into arm wrestling, I think it's a pretty good deal. But like I said, I'm still working on getting more of that type of content out. Haven't had the chance to do a lot of it, but we're working on it. Alright, let's get this is a supinated press kind of deal movement. And I gotta scoot over a little bit so you can actually see what's going on. I lay down like this and just work on all of that sideways elbow. If I had a cable machine, it'd be a little bit easier to do, but this is how you gotta do it when you don't have a cable machine. Works just as good. This is working on your shoulder, your pec, your elbow, your supinator, your cup a little bit. Not much on the cup, probably the least on the cup. Definitely need more people in the sport. So people are always looking. There's tons of clubs around nowadays. I train in Ohio and Cleveland a lot, so I know a lot of the best guys in Ohio. You know, we get together all over the place and arm wrestle. Here soon they're having, it's called Dog Fights. I think it's Dog Fights 9, and that's going to be in Sandusky, Ohio at the Harley Davidson Center, so that's going to be pretty fun. That's in, I think, May 31st. And they're doing a super match tournament, and then they're gonna have a big practice with everybody. So there's gonna be pretty much everybody who's, you know, the top people in Ohio is gonna be there. Maybe some guys from out of state as well. So that's gonna be pretty fun. We're gonna go ahead and do our left arm, same thing. Oh, wrong way. Oh, I got it. Turn it the other way.
He fought so hard to slip back, but fatigue on his hands fought. So, the guy can hold on to him. Who's got baby?
I looked out from the front. Arm is correct himself. He did 52 kilos for last year, not 50 for 20.
Okay. Well, here's a video that says 50 to 19, so I was going to watch all the time. Here's a question from him. Again, he did that to me. Ignorant with this stuff. How correlatable is it, the amount of weight you're doing on these exercises and strength, to like predicting matches and stuff? Like, is it like this guy is complete, so he's going to win? Like, what have you seen in terms of what I've seen with his riser? Like, so he defeated my riser. My pronation is superior. So he beat my riser. And what he did by beating my riser is he had the buckle and he didn't tighten the strap real hard. And because of that, when I used my pronation gain back pressure,
Victoria's from Russia. She's a boxer. Well, that's pretty cool. That is, I don't know who that is, but hopefully they're having fun and doing good in their sport. I'm actually getting back into arm wrestling for the first time in like almost 5 years since I've competed in a professional tournament. So I used to compete in 198 pounds, and now I'm going down to 176 because I'd feel a lot healthier at 176. I'm really pushing myself super hard to stay in like the 198 pound range, so a little bit easier for me to stay around there, and you know, I can still, you know, I'm still strong, still got, you know, the big forearms, still got, you know, not the biggest bicep, but pretty decent, you know, bicep for how long my arm is. But biggest thing is forearms in arm wrestling, and I got, you know, I can't even put my hand anywhere close around that. Pretty big. I think it's like 14 or 15 inch forearm, 14 or 15 inch bicep. Pretty big. getting pretty strong. Hopefully, you get stronger in the future. I want to get a lot strong. Well, I'm about 70% of the way to where I want to be as far as strength by the end for the end of this year. So I still got about 30% more way to go. So we're gonna keep working, keep at it, and hopefully get there soon. We're gonna go back into some pronation lift. Get some of that going.
Which is one thing for sure for me because he's so long in the lever. I'm gonna make sure he's off my knuckle, which will have to find his handle with almost make him have to love me or something. Man, Bill Collins just doing some pretty deep blood pressure medicine to outlast the stress of being a ref every matches, man. That's gotta be one of the most stressful jobs of the damn planet. Flashback. Yeah. So even after those 2 rounds of multiple fatigue, 3 starts, in round 3 he gets the flashback. Here we go. Let's see one time. Boom. Not close to the pad. All right, buddy. I'll be good. Take care. Thanks, guys. All right. Boom. Good to meet you too. Beautiful, beautiful.
So how's everyone's night going? Hopefully pretty good.
But let me tell you why I think that happened. And this is what I've seen in a lot of good matches. We can go replay that one more time. Can you go back to this part right now? The beginning of the yeah. All right. So it was a pin. He said it was just his below his wrist was after wrist elbow. Boom. All right, get this out of the way. So they're about to show an angle. Watch this. Irma's elbow never goes back. Irma's trying to fight everything from that same position, right? Now he did get the other win earlier from the post, but what I've seen people stop his back pressure is by dragging the elbow to the back of the pad.
Definitely getting some blood in there. You can already see that vein popping.
Which that's what I engage back pressure, it's dragging pressure. That's what I do. So hopefully when I can
Not
get
even
to this
flexing.
position and I can get out of his hand into the strap, I'm able to drag my elbow back. See how he dragged his elbow back? Mm-hmm. The Mac before that, you saw his elbow never move. He got flashed. You see that? You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Maybe still keep it. Let's get this drag his elbow back. Watch his elbow. I don't know if it's going to. Let's see. I've never watched it this way. Because I've never had fatalities in the opponents. I didn't worry about it. I was watching the parameters. Let's see if he drags back. Hard to get there. Now everything goes straight to referee's grip. We have all this talking stuff. Okay. So no. It was his post. So he didn't drag his elbow, but his post. Now his elbow's moving back. Now his elbow's moving back. So it seems back from the second pad. Now he's got a wrist block. Here comes a transitional press. No, okay, elbow fell. That was an elbow fell? Yeah, elbow fell off the side of the pad. And they call losing position hand pay height. So if it's not below the hand pay height, let's see it again. Here we go. Let's start. Yeah. Elbow fell. See, look. He's got a compromised wrist. He's going sideways hard, but Irma's pronation and thigh pressure. Rogers got control of his bicep strength. His hammer cross strength is up pressure. You see him go elbow front, elbow rear, elbow front, elbow rear. Elbow front, elbow rear. Now he's pushing in with his hand. Here comes pushing the hand. Watch this transitional press. See, you see him pet decking in with his hand. Sets him up in a transitional press. So now he's up 3-1. So now he's up 2-2.
I think the right is a little more pumped than the left right now,
Well, watch this transition.
which is good.
So if I can just get Vitaly in this fight, I think I can win. But we have a stronger Vitaly now because at this time he was still a truck driver, right? He's still working. Now he's full time. In theory, he's probably 310 pounds, 230 pounds. So it's a foregone conclusion that I'll be arm wrestling the strongest Vitaly that's ever existed.
Let's try
I need a very
slightly different
to win this match, right?
wrap
Here we go. Let's see if he can get slip. I'm sure he can. Look,
and try to just hold that for a more negative pronation
Yeah.
and just rotate.
But the fact that he still have this much explosive side pressure after hard start, and here we are around 5 is pretty impressive. See what we got. He's like, come over nothing. And I don't even know if he was. Irma's that's complaining about his knuckle.
That was like 150, 140, 150 degree. Or no. Yeah, because 180 is straight. Yeah, 140, 150 degree angle for my bicep. Because I'm really trying to get blood in my bicep and also get blood in my forearm, my pronator. I'm definitely getting blood into my pronator, that's for sure. Let's do my left arm and try the same dealio. So let's get it for you so you can kind of see. Let's get kind of so you can see.
Dude, he can still hit hard, can he? Still hit hard sideways. So he's won. I mean, Vitaly's won every time they've been on this side of the table. So if Ernest pulls this win off, he turns around because he's won every side on that side. Boom. And additional press. I don't know much about why is the press keep beating him. Well, that's 2 points he got from the press. So he is counting the move. So basically, both these guys went outside. These muscles are very exhausting. Now he's gonna push his hand past his shoulder line, and that biceps and I'm going to put the power of his back.
Alright, move it back. Alrighty. Hopefully everyone's having a good night. I'm having a great night. Just getting some working. I gotta adjust this nigga. Alright. Needs to be getting some working. Oh. I'm gonna have to get more drink here soon.
I didn't see it. Exactly, because the camera angle was horrible. You go back and watch it real quick. It's really annoying. I think it's all theatrical and then this very important aspects, which is like this start. Let's just start. It's horrible. They missed this much.
Alrighty. Let's do some. And get some supinated cupping kind of deal in. How's it going, Lucy? Welcome to the stream. We're just getting some blood work in and getting a pump going, getting stronger, getting a little bit of healing going from this morning when we did our heavy lifting. So I'll actually rotate that one more time. That way I get a little bit more of a grip on there. Actually, I didn't even do anything, so we're not going to do that. That's not going to really help us at all. But we will do this. Our normal wrap. It's a good thing to just try things out when you're doing rehab because it's lightweight, so you can kind of really feel the pressure, see where it's going to really put it, rather than you're just lifting so much weight. You got to activate all these different muscles to lift it, when you really don't even know if it's working out the muscles you want as effectively as you'd like. Let's just do that, that'll work. Almost our normal lift, but we're actively, releasing our supination and gathering it back.
I think I was there. I think it was a BAL match with you and Tara. Yeah. And that was forever. Yeah, that was a long one. That was freaking long. Just the whole time I pulled a WL because they had the smaller WL strap.
Hopefully you're having a good day or night and you're getting strong. Now I gotta find something else to watch. Already watched that one. That's fine.
Okay, let's talk about tendon strength. Like,
We can watch that. That's good enough.
okay, let's talk about tendon strength. Like,
We
what
can
is the
watch that
protocol, tendon
one.
strength protocol or
Cause
strength
it'll
training
be
protocol for tendon?
funny.
So let's start. What do you see here? Do you see a tree or do you see a forest? Because this is I think a common misconception regarding tendon strength. Because yes, we have a tendon strength tree here, but in this forest we have also tendon health, muscle strength, joint angle, meaning that this tendon strength thing isn't a vacuum thing. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. The only thing that leads into tendon injury is not the tendon strength thing. There are other factors which are maybe more important than your tendon strength, which factor into this tendon injury. Alright? So, let's look at a couple of examples. Here we have the typical case of bicep injury in arm wrestling. Fully extended arm in a supinated position. I made a video.
Yeah, I don't know why it shakes like that. Because it shakes no matter how much weight I do. I think it's just I need to get my stabilizing muscles a little bit more used to this lift. So that might be why. It does it worse on my left arm than my right. On my right, it doesn't really do it. It's not that it's a hard lift, it just shakes. It might be because my shoulder's a little messed up on my left.
Like, hyperextended joint angles are dangerous because they usually involve bone compression to the tendon, which contribute to an injury. Or on top of hyperextension, meaning the stretching of the muscle tendon. So, key takeaway here is that you should avoid going into this position in which your tendon is super vulnerable. Like, no matter how strong the tendon here is, you are pretty likely to injure the bicep tendon if you are put into these kind of positions. So
That's how I used to wrap for pronation. But it doesn't work as well. It's this. This works a lot better. Feels more natural. There's no flipping of the strap either, which is really nice. And you can cap or not cap. I don't cap because it makes it work a little bit more, and then I actually take my fingers in like that. Because then I'm not, bending my fingers back a little bit.
Putting your arm in a position where the joint is hyperextended, in this case being the rotator cuff muscle doing the internal rotation. Which might be the
And this isn't lifting heavy, this is just rehab work as it says in the title. So,
which he might have suffered, we don't know. We haven't thought about it. Then let's talk about Morozov injured his inner elbow.
I'm mostly working on our bicep here, so we might do some more open bicep pronation.
But he still continued pulling. So is this a case of really of weak tendons or untreated inflammation of the tendon? Again, remember, we are talking about the forest and not the tree being tendon strength. But here again, another tree in the forest of tendon strength is inflammation, untreated inflammation of the tendon.
Definitely getting some
it's not just
blood flow.
Exercise which builds strong tendons. If you just overload tendonitis, which leads to degradation of the tendon. Like, you're trying to build a tendon and deteriorate it at the same time. And then if we look at this section here, which is the golfer's elbow section, note that these muscles, in this, I made a golfer's elbow video, by the way, note that here, you can see, this muscle that attached to this medial epicondyle knob here, this being the medial epicondyle, they perform a structural function, which is to protect the elbow from breaking, meaning they protect these ligaments here, where the force is displayed. This happens when you are doing internal rotation of the humerus bone. So your nervous system forces these muscles to contract to protect the elbow when you are doing very intensive internal rotation. It's not so much that you would be doing some kind of too much wrist curls or too much pronation. It can be just the fact that these are firing because you are doing too much internal rotation. So you shouldn't, again, train over this injury. Like, the solution to avoid this golfer's elbow is not to find some magic bullet exercise which builds stronger elbow with these muscles stronger, but to heal the tendonitis that you have developed here, which comes from too heavy internal rotation. Or internal rotation, it has too high inertia and hence it's too much impact on it. Like in golf, where you're just doing the swinging motion, with internal rotation and the trailing hand, the hand which comes behind, as well as the gliding. Like those are jerking motions. And same way if you have a pulley system which has 1-to-1, it has also jerking motion in it, which is high inertia. So you should consider changing when you have existing injury here. You have to change the movement so that it has less inertia, so that these tendons have time to heal, and also to deload the movement you are doing so that the tendons have time to heal. Alright? Then, let's look at this. Here is taken from online and made in the better format. These are the grading system of tendon injury. Note that we have here
Thumb is a little sore.
we have outer tendon irritation, early tendon deterioration.
I don't know if I can do that on my left arm.
Here, pull it up around tendon, partial torn tendon, tendon
Yep.
torn all the way through, full torn and full tendon. Note here that these exist in a continuous line, meaning that you go from here to here to here to here. You know, you are marching this back. This eventually leads here. If you go here and you don't read it, you don't do anything with it, you're just training over it, this will eventually go to this. Then you train, you don't read it, you don't let it rest, you don't try to heal it, this will eventually lead to this. Then you train it, don't let it heal, don't deload, don't do any changes, this will eventually lead to this. This will eventually lead to this. This will eventually lead to this. And they don't need to happen in the same progression, meaning that if you are in this position, like if you are in this position, it might not that the next step is this, if the impact is great enough. You might just go straight here to here. And you are immediately in need of a surgery. What I mean by
Watching a
this
video
is that
about
you should
your
be mindful
LCL
that
tendon,
this hierarchy exists here.
which is like right here.
The healthy tendon
That's
is
for
what
your
you want.
internal rotation, so your
This mild outer tendon irritation phase,
keeps
you
your elbow
focus
from
on
breaking.
new tendon rehabilitation here, not when it's
This guy's really
here,
underrated
when it's harder.
YouTuber. I really like him. I found him the other day. T12J7. Doesn't get a lot of views. Doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but he makes really good videos. Really good quality videos, especially around arm wrestling. So
Alright?
if you're in arm wrestling, definitely check that out.
Then let's look at this slide. Note here that this is taken from this thing, this PubMed article. It has an image like this. This talks about this tendon thing.
My arms are
There's my
pumped,
pencil.
bro.
So, what you can learn from this is that optimal tendon strength comes when you are optimally loading the tendon, which leads to adaptation, and then strength gain of the tendon, and then you are back in the normal tendon. Meaning, when you are doing this cycle, you are strengthening a normal healthy tendon. It stays healthy. But what then? What if you go to this path? Extensive load and individual factors. What does this lead to?
Let's do one more set of pronation on either arm, and then we're probably going to be done for the night because we're approaching 40 minutes, which is pretty long for pretty much continuous training. So let's go ahead and do that.
You are marching here. If you go for one repetition maximum, one in the normal dynamic movements, or in the static movements, or you are doing overall eccentrics. You are playing with this arrow here, which leads to tendon deterioration. And then where you get out of it is with this arrow. Appropriate modified load. Obviously, it includes more things than just modifying the load. You might need to modify the movement so that if the movement had some kind of hyperextension of the joint factor in it, like for example, if you were training your bicep and you were doing it in the hyperextension with the supinated grip, it might be that hyperextension and the supinated grip which is irritating that bicep tendon. And same applies to everything. Avoid the hyperextended position, especially if you have irritation of the tendon. For example, the pectoral tendon in the bench press. You might want to put some kind of pillow into your chest so that the bar doesn't come so low. So that the chest tendon is not so stretched in the hyperextended position. Which then doesn't irritate it at that much. It has ability to heal from it. And you maybe even top of that take some kind of deload. You drop the weight 10% of what you're doing. And then come back to your normal weight when it is
Alright, guys.
healed with this modification.
I appreciate everyone that joined the live. I appreciate you guys who commented and subscribed and just said hello. Makes a big difference to me, makes a big difference to the community. You know, if you like arm wrestling, make sure to stay checking out my channel. Every once in a while I do some video games and stuff. But for the most part, it's going to be arm wrestling. I'm going to be doing training videos or lives pretty much every day. So you can look forward to that. Also, if you want to support the channel, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. Also, I do have, for people who want to monetarily support, a members option. It's only 99 cents per month, and that gives you access to some of my training videos that are not available for the public. You know, some of my kind of secrets and stuff. I have one video out right now. I'm going to have more and more. So I plan on doing that like every other day, putting a video up for that. And just, you know, it's going to be a lot of involvement in like high level techniques and stuff. And yeah, I hope to see you there. Other than that, we're going to be logging off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Adios.
Because it moves as